The Charity Board Gamer is made possible by publishers like 25th Century Games. Take a look at the store in the link down below, and stay tuned for a little clip after the show. What's going on, everybody? Hey, it's Chris from Charity Board Gamer. Once again, just so everybody knows, we are about to get into our fancy little thingamabobber-robber, the live stream thing. You know, the Meeples of Joy stuff. You know, that stuff. Thank goodness I'm not the one editing the audio. We'll do I get to edit the video, so it's basically I won't edit it at all. And Justin will have to do the audio. Yeah, thanks. Hey, I'm all the freezes and everything that happened.
Yeah, you're just like, you get to see everything, all the bloopers and everything.
Oh, you get to see it all. We're just going to let it all out there. But yeah, so of course, it's the Meeples of Joy podcast. We're going to be going into this. So if we don't interact with you actually in the chat, we will interact via typing. We just won't comment on it as we're doing it, mainly because we are recording this and we are preparing it. So, that way we can try to put this on the other things like the iPod thing. Is it the iPod thing?
iPod thing.
iPod.
You don't know how long it's been
anymore.
Okay,
you don't know how long.
I will say I have my old iPod right here at the desk.
So I have one.
We're putting it on the iPod thing. That's exactly it. We'll put it on the iTunes and the show tunes and the other tunes and the
podcast services.
Amazon things and the Spotify's, that type of stuff. Yeah. All right.
Podcast services.
So yeah, we are going to be doing that. So if we don't exactly talk to you as you're chatting with us, know that we're going to probably be typing it with you as we're talking with each other. So here we go. Hey folks, welcome to the Meeples of Joy podcast where we talk about games, talk about life, talk about all that other stuff, things, and hang out with some people in the industry and friends of ours, and have to deal with me once in a while. So, but of course, we've got a special guest, of course, tonight. But first, I'm going to pass it over to my friend Chelsea.
Hi, I'm Chelsea, and you can find me at Chelka's Corner. And here is, the one person that can keep us in check and keep us, on track.
I think the only way I keep you on track is with the script that we're reading off of right now. But yes, I am Justin of Play Games Spread Joy. We try to just have some fun here on. Chris, do you want to introduce who we have joining us today?
Yeah, what I always find funny though is I always wonder what would you all do if I just deleted this whole thing as we're doing it. But I'm not. I'm not going to.
I have you on comment only.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
See, and this is why
I know what to do here.
And this is why.
Okay.
He's in charge of these things.
So tonight, I've never had an award-winning person on our show, so I'm very excited about that. I don't know. Well, don't quote me on it because I'm pretty sure
I don't know either.
I don't know. I don't know if people have won Dice Tower Awards and stuff like that. Forgive me, I don't pay attention.
Okay. There's a lot of awards out there, but
there's
who we have today.
However, we have a social media and community beast today with award-winning from Calliope Games, Risa Patron.
Hello. I was not given a script, so I am flying by the seat of my pants, unlike the rest of this podcast, which is very scripted.
Super scripted, because if it wasn't, I would be off the wall already.
We would be here for 3 hours.
Don't feel bad. I don't tell them everything to say. It's like, hey, introduce so-and-so. Pass to so-and-so.
Yes, I'm reading words right now. It says, do this thing and stuff. Okay, no, that's just me. So Risa, tell us a little bit about what you do now. Of course, I know you through Calliope Games. Calliope Games, if anybody doesn't know, makes a lot of family-friendly games that you can have at a higher player count, shorter play time. One of my favorite is Suro, and that is by far one of the ones I really enjoyed. I know Justin loves Enchanted Plumes. Chelsea, I did not ask you what your favorite one was. So I feel horrible now, but
I like Ship Shape a lot.
Ship Shape. Oh, that's right. That's a good one.
So the first time I played was on TTS, and it was it was fine, but the whole thing about getting up and looking, I'm not that great. So it was hard to see everything. So I ended up getting a physical copy, and I enjoy the actual physical game a lot more than digital.
Feel that way about a lot of games. Digital
True.
copies are great, and it's awesome to be able to play with people that aren't in the same room as you, but it's hard to beat that in-person experience. So and Shipshape is one of those games you kind of have to have
like
that experience.
look and
Yep. Getting
you're
up and
tilting your
leaning
head.
over.
Yep.
So what is the day in a life of a community / social media manager like yourself? Like what has gotten you into that level? What got you to getting an award? Because I remember that, and like I just saw that you just got it recently, and we were able to see it. I think you had a picture of yourself with it on Twitter, and it looked pretty freaking awesome.
Oh, it was so cool. So it was so starting at the beginning of what like a day in the life of a social media person is. I mean, everyone is different. Every single day is different because like I'm never doing the same job twice. But usually my day I wake up and I immediately start scrolling my phone on social media, which is not a good habit. Don't do that. But I do it anyway, so don't be like me. But yeah, you check out the socials, what's going on, and usually there's something up from the charity board gamer. You like to tweet very early in the morning. I know this about you. So yeah, just see what's up overnight, and then like once you've had the coffee and you're moving and grooving and actually sitting at a desk. I do a little bit of everything. I do a lot of our coordination with our content creators. So I get the amazing privilege of getting to talk to all the people in the industry and hear what they're excited about and find out if they'd be interested in checking out our games and what kind of content they've created for our games. And people have gotten very creative with what they've done. So I'm scheduling meetings with them. I'm scheduling out promoting them and what they've done. I'm getting copies sent out to them. I'm writing. I do all of our blog content on our website. So you'll see we've been doing a couple of different series. We've had like everything you need to know about different types of games. So we'll have quick start guides and frequently asked questions and reviews and basically everything you need to know. Hey, that's why I named it that. And then we also do like game variants and different ways to play the game, because there's all of our games are very replayable, but sometimes you want to try something new. So we went to like BGG and found 8 different game variants for Suro that people in the community have come up with, and we play tested them and wrote them up and put them up on our website, and now they're there so that people can try them out. The designer of Enchanted Plumes created a solo mode for Enchanted Plumes, so we put that up on the website. And just today I filmed myself playing it, so that was my day today, and then tomorrow I'm going to be editing that. So I wear a lot of hats. But that's a quote unquote typical day. And I'm always skipping lunch or eating lunch in the middle of my meetings. It's like a running joke with my team that I always have coffee or food in all of my meetings. So again, don't be like me.
I mean, it makes sense though to have like snacks when you're doing meetings. I mean, I think that's okay. I seriously do, because I'd rather
snacks are it.
Yeah, I mean, it's entertaining to hear some of the conversations that happen in a meeting. So you need a little popcorn to just kind of watch it happen. So, and I saw Justin's ears perk a little bit when you said solo mode for Enchanted Plumes, because he does enjoy a good solo game. So
yes,
I do too.
I do a little bit of the solo streaming, but yeah, and living alone, I try to find solo modes of different games, and especially hearing that you now have a solo mode for Enchanted Plumes, I'll be interested to learn more about that and try it out for sure. So I'll be looking for when that video comes out.
Yeah, I'll send you the link. We have the rules up on the website, and then Brendan also put it on the BGG. So there's a couple places you can check it out, and I'll make sure to send it to you. But yeah, that's what I do. And then one of the amazing content creators that I work with, Danielle at Board Game Bakes, who I have to give a shout out to. And if you have seen any of her stuff, she's incredible. She makes edible board games. And she nominated me for the Game Her Awards. And I was incredibly honored because that's to me is a reflection of the type of community that I've created, which is an open and inclusive one that, you know, encourages that back and forth between me and the content creators. And I was super happy to just leave it at that. Be like, I really was just happy to be nominated. Isn't that great? Got an email that I was a finalist and kind of lost my mind a little bit. But I was like, well, that's really exciting. There's no way it's going to go past that. But like, that's super cool that I'm a finalist. And then I got told that I won and I wasn't allowed to tell anybody. And I had to film an acceptance speech. And I went, okay, that's new. Never done that before. So that was very exciting. And now everybody knows, and I'm still freaking out about it and it doesn't feel real, but I am truly honored and blessed to have been like a part of this community and to be recognized. Like, I'm just grateful that people enjoy talking to me and interacting with me.
Oh, is that what we're supposed to do? I'm sorry, we have to end this now. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Oh my goodness. No, I think, yeah. When did we start interacting? Was it last year or was it a year before? I don't remember anymore.
I think it was last year because I joined Calliope in March of 2020. And I remember that because when I got hired, it was, you know, we're going to be doing all these conventions and we'd love to see your marketing plan for all of that. And, you know, nothing important happened in March of 2020. That was a very, very chill month of a very chill year. So, but yeah, I definitely spent the first 6 months of my job completely pivoting what I expected to do and starting up these new relationships and this new plan of like, okay, we're not going to get to meet in person, so it's time to start getting in touch with people via email and Zoom and any other possible way there is than in person. So yes, I think it was like a year ago. The first 6 months was a blur. I have no idea what I did.
Yeah, no, I understand. I think one of the things that we did a lot was we did so much virtual 2020, and then 2021 we slowly brought it. We kept doing a lot of virtual, and then of course Justin was able to come on out and we were able to do some live streams and stuff in person, which was nice. And then finally getting Chelsea out here, which was really cool. So it's been a blessing. But yeah, I am completely amazed. Like it's fun reading like what you've done and how you do it. And it's also fun watching other people like Danny Below from Pandasaurus, just the two of you. And then when T was doing so much for Haba back when they were working for Haba, just watching, just like reading, here's a day in a life. And you're just like, so it was fun
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, I can tell you that when Danny did her, this is the day in the life of what I do, like just hang out with me for a day while I work. Every other social media manager, community manager, marketing manager that I know was all just like, she does all that in one day. Are you kidding me? What? That's insane. Are you nuts? So we all were just kind of jumped on Danny for a second. We're just like, don't make us look bad. But she is truly one of a kind. It is impossible. I don't think anyone works as hard as she does. And T is also just a huge inspiration of mine in this industry. They have been they are just a mentor in so many different aspects. But you know, when I was coming in, they had so many great words of advice, and I do what I do more effectively because of those two people that you named. They are both like just rock stars in this world. So, and then you put my name in there with them, and that's weird. I'm not used to that.
No, now you deserve it. I mean, there's an award that you now have that says that you are deserving of it and worthy of it. So don't look at that and ever say that you're not good enough, because that's proof right there. And I mean, of course, Danielle from Board Game Bakes is phenomenal too. Those 12 days cookies that she brought, I didn't even get one. I was like, it's like the meetup happened and I'm like, oh, Danielle's here. Does she have cookies? No? Okay.
She did. I had some too. If I had known you didn't have one, I would have given you one.
Oh no.
I ate too many of them.
It's
I
all
ate
right.
way too many of them.
It's all right.
They
We're
were
just
Probably
gonna-
it's probably for the better. We've been trying to help Chris when we're at conventions to stay healthy.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. Yeah, it's true. It's so true. Yeah. But oh no, instead we got to enjoy some delicious butcher bar when we were in Philadelphia, which was phenomenal. We have to take you to that next time if you're up for
I'm
that.
down.
Yeah, to join
Oh,
us.
yeah.
Did Ken tell you about it at all?
Yeah, he did tell me about it, and I saw pictures online, and it looked intense. I got a stomach ache from looking at it.
Yeah, it was so good. I'm doing a lot of question asking. I'm gonna go ahead and pass it over to Chelsea now. We'll let Chelsea go ahead and talk and stuff because I probably should stop doing that.
Maybe. Well, you asked a lot of questions, and I'm unfortunately drawing a blank. You guys talked too much, and you like talked about the blog and the day in and the solo stuff. And I guess I don't know. I'm drawing a blank. I'm passing to Justin. I'm so sorry. I'm like,
I'm not sure that's the best thing to do right now because I'm like,
And I
I
was
was just
paying-
enjoying hearing
yeah.
this back and
Yes.
forth and all these great stories. And I'm like,
and
what do I have to
cooking talk.
contribute this time? I'm like, yeah, like, but
Super efficient. I've gotten everything done right away.
Yeah.
That's a real social media manager right there. It's
There
just
we go.
efficiency.
Award winning right there.
That's
Oh.
because I'm that efficient.
so I guess as a social media manager, what is one of your favorite aspects of the job?
Favorite aspects of the job. It sounds like a broken record, but it really is the people that I interact with. And that's not just the content creators, but it's also the people that comment and share on all of our different social media platforms. We had a couple weeks ago, somebody made their own version of Enchanted Plumes, but they rethemed it as a tree with presents underneath it. So rather than like Enchanted Plumes is the top row is the big row and you work your way down in a reverse pyramid. With this one, it's presents under the tree and you work your way up. And then the last card is the tree. And you play it face down and it's a tree instead. And I thought that was like the coolest thing I've ever seen. I just like lost my mind over that. Because reskinning games and retheming them into something that means a lot to you is something I always support. I'm all about that. This might be, I hope I don't get in trouble for mentioning this, but we are working on reskinning 12 days right now. Not a reskin, but we're redoing it and we're calling it 12 Nights. And it's going to be a Knights of the Round Table theme to it.
Oh,
So it's going to be a very similar style of that pass and play, but we're going to have, rather than like the Mr. and Mrs. Claus cards, there's going to be like Excalibur and the Holy Grail, and there's like the characters are going to be different, and so it's going to be similar. It's not identical. It's not a complete one-for-one changeover, but it's going to scratch that similar itch, but it's not just for Christmas. You can play it all the time. So I love that. And then there was somebody else did a Doctor Who themed Suro game.
Okay.
That is not real. That is not like a official printout. If we could ever get that IP, I will lose my mind. But someone did it. So all of the pawns are the different doctors and you're traveling through space and you can't run into each other because that's bad. And I lost my mind on that one. That's the coolest thing I've ever seen. And then if I can make that happen, I can die happy.
See, now I want that. I want that so much right now. I would
Tell your friends, make it an internet campaign.
I mean, instead of the 12 days, you could also do the 12 doctors.
Could also do the 12
I know there's
doctors.
there's 13 now.
There's 13 now.
Yeah, but I mean, we could probably, throw one off, I don't know. Nobody likes the fourth, do they? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, isn't that the one with the scarf?
Yeah, it's the one with the scarf.
Yeah.
That's why I'm messing with
Everybody
you.
likes him.
No, I think it was a lot of people like Eccleston. Eccleston was one that I enjoyed.
I
Yeah,
enjoyed
I'm
him.
pretty
he was
sure-
my first doctor.
But
He was
So
mine too.
yeah, I think the one before Eccleston, probably from the 80s, I'm pretty sure would not be the one that, I mean, people are like, there's that big long hiatus between 80s and then the 2000s, where it's like,
Yeah.
yeah. So
I
we
used
could
to
probably do
be I used to be so into Doctor Who, and I'm like now upset. My friend's gonna watch this and be like, "You know everyone's name." So I know the Eighth Doctor was the made-for-TV movie, but
Mhm.
then the Eighth Doctor and then the Ninth Doctor, he wasn't actually the Ninth Doctor because there was the War Doctor from the one Christmas special.
Mhm.
Yes.
So there's a lot of doctors.
Yes.
But you know what? That just means we have to make Suro more than an 8-player game. That's what I'm hearing, or a 12-player game. We just have to make it. I know no, not Suro, but 12 days, but still, we'll
Yeah.
make it, 15, and then we can scale it up to a 6-player game. And that's
then
perfect.
throw in some Daleks in there, some Cybermen.
I love
gotta have that. And the
Oh,
Weeping Angels
so-
have to have
So-
the Weeping Angels.
So what I'm
So-
hearing is new challenge, retheme every Calliope game into Doctor Who.
Yes.
That would
Okay.
be great. I'm pretty sure the
Yes.
BBC would be more than willing to share their license. I mean, has the BBC? I mean, have they done anything with their IP at all? I don't know.
There was definitely a Doctor Who board game out there.
There is a Doctor Who board game, and there's 2 card games,
There's Doctor Who Flux. I know that.
and there's a Doctor Who Flux. Yes,
Okay.
I own them all.
Craziness. I don't own any of the Doctor Who related ones. I'll have to check that
Oh
out.
yeah,
at some
yeah.
point.
Mhm.
So who knows? All right. Crazy.
Well, speaking about games, I guess we own and that we really enjoy, we'll get ready to transition towards our surprise top 5 for this episode. This one's a little bit easier than some of our other episodes so far. This is just basically your top 5 most played games from 2021. So we'll give you a moment to start thinking about that. But Chris, do you want to take a moment to talk about the charity that we're helping support this month, or want to kind of give a shout out to?
Yeah. Hey, folks, the charity that we're talking about this month is called the Brown House. It's out of Northport, Alabama. What they do is that they help out with the community. They help with tutoring of kids in the area. They have their own local garden, so people that are maybe food insufficient, what is the word? Food dependent. I forget the words, but it's something where they actually help out and make a difference in people's lives. They offer counseling as well. They offer housing for people that have their kids in the NICU. It's just a great organization. I first heard about this through James Hudson, which is through Skybound and Druid City Games. And we had a great conversation about it. We actually did a live stream about for them last year, had a blast raising money. We're going to be doing that again, hopefully, probably in March, just so everybody's aware. But what we're doing is that any bits or subscriptions, what we like to do is we're going to try to take the payouts from that and actually put that towards the nonprofits and the charities. That's the way that you can help support them in that. Or you can actually go to the charity site. It is brownhousecommunity.org. And by going to brownhousecommunity.org, you can go ahead and make a donation and impact a life.
All right. So, Risa, you have not done this with us before. Now, the rest of us have already made our list of 5 games. We all each know what's on that list, except you didn't know the top 5 category.
No idea.
And so hopefully you were able to think of the games you played the most last year.
I'm working on it. I got 3 of them.
We tried to make it a little bit easier. Would you like to start us off, or would you like to kind of go after we start going?
I totally want to go last, because maybe if you say
not
something,
a problem
I'll
at all.
I'm trying not to make it all Calliope games, because like truthfully, if we're talking like actually games I've played the most, it's playtesting games that are coming up in 2022, and I can't talk about those. So now I have to remember games that are actually out, and then also preferably not just a list of 5 Calliope games. So
Fair enough. Well,
All right, folks,
since
we're gonna try to stump her and get her to accidentally say at least one 2022 release. All right.
well,
Okay.
since you mentioned essentially playtesting games that are not quite out yet, one that was on my list that I got to help kind of review was actually Titania Ascending with XYZ Game Labs. So because I streamed that solo, I actually played quite a few games leading up to that, so I could get all the rules correct. So that was like probably the fifth on my list. It's lower on the list, but that was a brand new roll and write style. There's kind of two phase. You can play it co-op style. So there's a lot of great elements to it that I really enjoyed. So I just couldn't quite get enough of it because I kept wanting to try it and get it down and kind of get better at it. So I played that quite a bit. I believe both Chelsea and Chris, whichever one of you want to go next, both of y'all had an XYZ Game Labs game on your list as well.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Chelsea, go ahead.
So our travels by XYC Lab Games Lab. The first time I played it, I had backed it and I ended up playing with Chris online. And then every time somebody who wasn't a huge gamer came to the house, which wasn't a lot, it was mostly family because, COVID, they're not huge gamers. So this was a great game to just take out and play. So it got a lot of plays last year, which I was fine with. And don't add all the special projects in because it turns into like a 3-hour game and it's really not that long.
Yeah, I mean, for me, our travels is by far just one of those games that I think we played in so many live streams, charity live streams that we've done this year, or this past year, and it was just one that it was easy to just have fun with it. Playing with Jordan Miller, though, that is one of the highlights to it of all things, because we would do these ridiculous George Takei impersonations
Oh my gosh.
throughout the whole live stream, where we would instead impersonate different characters, but as George Takei. So it's, I have the higher ground, Anakin. Oh my. So just doing that throughout the whole time. And of course, Jordan does an amazing Bernie Sanders where he's like, he got the 40% of the 1% of the 29.5%. It's great. So, and of course, then we would do our Macho Man and Hulkamania thing, which was just ridiculous. So we did that probably every single live stream we've been on. There was one live stream where we played with Az Drummond, and he was completely baffled as to what the crap we were doing. And it was by far one of the best games that we played. So
yeah, he did not know what he was walking into with that game.
No, he did not. So that's our travels from XYZ Game Labs.
So Risa, do you have a little bit of time to at least think of one from your list?
Yes, absolutely. It's actually one that you guys are going to be playing later. Dragon Prince Battle Charged was one of the coolest games. So I don't mean to brag, but Matt, who works at Brotherwise, is one of my dear friends from before the board game world. We used to work at an escape room together in Orlando. And then we found each other again in the world of board games. So life is awesome like that. But I've been obsessed with Dragon Prince since it came out. And then when I found out that they got that game, I lost my mind a little bit. And as soon as it came in the day before I started a 3-month-long road trip. And I played it every single day for like the first month of the trip. So I've done every character combination there is. And Amaya's my favorite because she's my favorite on the show. And yeah, it's a really, really fun game, and it's going to make me start painting minis, and I'm not happy about that.
Yeah, it's one of those games. I agree with you. It's I look forward to it. We played it in a live stream, and we had a blast. And I beat Daniel from Kids Planning, so that even felt better. So I enjoyed that. Yeah, Daniel and Allison, if you're watching, I'm just wanting to point that out. And so. But yeah, it's so well done. Tonight we're gonna be playing Team Soren and Claudia versus Callum and Rayla, because I think that's the good two power couples, not relationship wise couples, but that dynamic between the characters. So, however, I do like Soren's redemption story in season 3. I think that's really cool. Yeah.
I think I only played the once on stream with you, so I don't know as much about the game. I'll have to try that more. But something I guess I know a little bit more about is another game on my list is Horrified from Ravensburger. Well, for one, our first experience, Chelsea can attest. We played it 3 times the first night we opened it without getting the rules right that night, just because we had some other issues going on. couldn't quite read all the rules and be like, oh yeah, this is how you actually play. Because we're like, oh, we're gamers. We can figure this out. We should have started out easy. But yeah, I played that multiple times last year, both in groups and solo, and really enjoyed trying out all the different characters. And of course, they came out with the American monsters. So that just kind of expanded on being able to play even more of that style of game from Ravensburger. So I really enjoyed that. Chelsea, what was one of the next ones on your list?
Another one that whenever my niece would visit this past year, it's from Renegade Game Studio, and it's Athenium. I can never pronounce it. Mystic Library just came out. You are a student in a mystical magical school, and you did not study properly, and now are cramming the night before, and you have to clean up books. So you are drafting cards and getting books and organizing them, and then at the end you score your shelves, and the books all have different names, and they're hilarious. So whenever my niece would visit, she wanted to play, and that was the first one we played every time she visits. So it got the most plays, and then I also demoed it for Renegade on Digital Con, so it got even more plays. But it's I remember the first time I played it in person, it took like just the two of us, maybe like 40 minutes, because the whole digital implementation thing makes it longer because you got to drag the books and place them, and it's just, it obviously it's so much better in person, but so much quicker too. So it definitely got a lot of plays last year.
Chris, I don't think you had a game from Ravensburger or Renegade, but I think you have something from Restoration Games. At least we'll continue with the R naming of the companies.
Okay, so if we're keeping up with the R names, I am a big fan of Unmatched. Since the Star Wars Epic Duel days of learning that game back in 2019, I have truly gotten the chance to enjoy Restoration's game re-implementation of it. And last week I played as Achilles, and I beat my wife in a game, which is such a good feeling because I usually lose. If anybody has watched any of our live streams before, I usually lose. I lost the very next game that we played, Floating Floors, but I did amazingly well with Achilles, so I'll probably try him out a couple more times. But I do love the fact that there's such variability in the way that these players are done. Like with Cobble of Fog, they changed up a little bit about how the rooms are and some of the characters. But yeah, I really do like the Unmatched platform. I think that Restoration really has something great coming on, and I cannot wait for the Marvel lineup of them where I can play as Squirrel Girl, my all-time favorite Marvel superhero, who single-handedly defeated Thanos while thinking it wasn't even Thanos. So, and also became friends with Galactus and stopped him from eating the world. Yeah, that's right, Squirrel Girl.
Well, I'm not sure how to transition to that from that for you, Risa. So I'll just let you go with what's over on your list.
No, we got it. We got the R publishers. We're good. I got Roxley Games, and I'm going to say Dice Throne, because that is a game that for me is, I never win that game. I am the worst at it, and I don't care. I love it. I have both of the battle boxes, and I have Dice Throne Adventures, and I backed Marvel Dice Throne, and like I'm obsessed with all the different characters, and I will eventually figure out the winning combination that'll get me to win, but it hasn't happened yet. Actually, no, that's not true. I won once with the Gunslinger. Once. But I love it. It's super fun. It's easy to teach. It plays nice and quick, and it's one of those, like, we have 20 minutes, let's just pop it out, play it. I'll lose and we'll move on with our lives. It'll be great.
Well, talking about games that it's basically playing about 20 minutes and move on, whether you win or lose. Chris was happy that he beat me the first time we played this, but since then he's had trouble beating me. Cartographers from Thunderworks Games. Some people don't play it quite as fast as 20 minutes when we're streaming 45 minutes plus, but to me that was actually the game I played the most last year because they came out with the app implementation of it as well. And so that was like with the app, I could actually sit down and play it in like 5 minutes. And so that for almost a month, that was almost like a daily, I'm going to play it every break I have. So I probably racked up app-wise and tabletop over 100 games of that last year. It was just my go-to game for almost the whole year. Chris, I'm not sure if you played it quite as much as I did, but I think it was on your list too.
Yeah, I didn't play it as much as you did. I don't have the app, so I didn't get to sharpen my skills as well as you did, sir. Goodness gracious. No, I've really enjoyed that one. That's another one that, like I said, we've done repeats of playing on the live streams. We're actually going to be playing Cartographer's Heroes tonight on our live stream as well. But it's one of those games that I've enjoyed. When I got the chance to teach it at PAX U, that was just an immediate yes. And what was so much fun was actually telling the people that whoever won at the table got to take a copy of the game home. Just to see their excitement with that was really cool. And I think we gave some copies courtesy of Thunderworks to actually the workers that were there as well. Mm-hmm. So that made for a nice experience for them too.
I think there was about a dozen copies that we got to give away during that event.
Yeah, a dozen copies. So very, very generous of Thunderworks Games to donate the games. Mm-hmm. And also just a fun game. I love playing it. I taught Justin how to play it, and now he's beat me at it, and I'm not as happy about that. But it's still a great game. It's a game that I would recommend to somebody that's wanting to introduce people to flipping rights and roller rights, or maybe a little bit later in their journey into roller rights, to kind of get them to understand it a little bit better, because there is polyomino shapes are just so much fun to play with. They're one of my favorite things in games. So yeah.
And Chelsea, what was another one from your list?
So one from my list that kind of fits that quick gameplay is Cat Lady, mm-hmm. From AEG. I jumped on this one kind of late. I picked it up when I was on vacation at the end of 2020. We went to the family vacation home and we found a game store and it was there, and I was like, why not? I love all animals, and you're rescuing cats and feeding them, and if anybody knows me, I will be the person who dies petting an animal that they shouldn't. So this was perfect, and I loved it. And my husband says I hustle people into it. I'm like, it's such a quick game, you'll get it, and I always beat them. But it just to me, it's just a quick game. You can play it anywhere, and then there's the app, and I play on that too, and I have that on my phone. And if I'm like, oh, I'm bored, I'm waiting somewhere, I'll play that one. So it definitely got a lot of plays, and now they have Dog Lady coming out, and I'm the crazy dog lady.
So you're not crazy. It's respectable.
I have 4 dogs, and if my husband would not put a limit, I would bring in more. So, yes. So I'm really excited about that and see how that one plays. So,
nice. How about you, Risa?
Okay. I started the fast playing one, but I'll just keep it going.
Yeah.
For me, Anomia was something that I discovered this year and started playing. So that's like a fun little party game where it's just cards and symbols, and you are going through, and on your turn, you'll play a card with a word or a phrase and a symbol on it. And anytime you match symbols, you have to say what's on the other player's card before they say what's on yours. So like theirs might be farm animal and yours is like blockbuster movie. So I have to say cow before they say Terminator 2 Judgment Day. And then whoever says it gets to keep the card. And then there's also like wild cards that make multiple symbols match. So it's one of those just like quick party games where you don't you don't have to have any real skill other than your brain has to work quickly. And some of my favorite moments is just like people like getting to like tripping over themselves, like farm animal rather than say cow. They're like moo. And it usually just devolves into screaming. And those are my favorite type of games, which kind of tells you a little bit about me as a person when your game is just like, I'm just screaming at you. I love that. So.
Well, I don't think we do as much screaming while playing, especially at the table with Chris. But Chris, some of your, I guess, the past few years has been defined by the new cats you've acquired. And that's no different from one of your games that you played the most last year. It was defined by a lot of cats.
Yeah, Calico.
One more time.
Calico.
Love Calico.
Oh
Not
my
on my
gosh.
2021 list, but I've already played it 3 times in 2022, and I just learned it 3 days ago.
Yeah.
So
Woo!
It's so good. It's like, I mean, Flat Out Games and AEG have something going well together. I think it's a good relationship. And Flat Out Games, I mean, you've got Point Salad, you've got 10, you've got Calico, you've got Cascadia. I think my favorite out of the series so far has been Calico. And it's just something about that quilt making, cat laying style of game. And the cats are adorable because in the rule book, when you go to the very back page, you get to read a little bit about each of the kittens that are actually painted and drawn by the amazing Beth Sobel. So just fabulous game. And I can't wait to see some of the other games that they have coming out this year. But I think Calico probably will still be my favorite one from them, followed by Point Salad. So Calico.
So you already kind of said the name of it, but along the same lines of Flat Out Games and AEG, I actually had Cascadia on my list. So a bit less time to have played it because it didn't arrive at the beginning of the year, but I definitely played it a lot. Has the great solo setup where you can basically like play through almost like a story with all the different card setups and with different point goals that you can achieve. So it's not just a beat your own score style. It actually, you have something to aim for every time. And part of why I played that so much and really enjoyed it is because it was back in, 2019 when they were still doing their initial play testing on that game before it ever went to Kickstarter. And I helped and like at the game conventions was hanging out with the designer of the game, sitting at the table, play testing like the base version of it. So seeing where it started from and building up to now was really cool to see. And it was so much, even more than I had imagined back then when I helped with that. So just kind of getting to see it and continually play it now has been a joy for me, at least. And then Chelsea, what else is on your list?
So my last 2 games are not very
Yeah, I was like, I don't know how to
quick.
transition this one.
So Spirit Island by Greater Than Games. The way I can tie it in is I also jumped into this one kind of late.
Mhm.
I jumped into this one after like their latest Kickstarter. I had friends who played it and I was like, I'm so confused by this. I don't know what's going on. And we ended up picking it up. And the day we learned it, we were on vacation and I think we ended up playing 3 times, like back to back. We like took breaks, ate, and then came back and played.
Mhm.
And it felt so different to co-op games that we normally play. And so it just became a favorite, and we haven't picked up anything else for it because we're trying to be good, but we really want all the other expansions and everything, and really regret missing the Kickstarters where I could have picked up everything at once.
And
back to
that
you,
leaves
Reese.
it to me. I can keep with that same. I can keep with the
Okay.
theme of picking it up late. For me, it was herbaceous. That was my friend Escadelia, who the Ascadorkable board gamer on TikTok. She is responsible for introducing me to like all of the games that she's like, oh, I backed this on Kickstarter. I didn't start using Kickstarter until I started working for Calliope. So I was behind. And she was like, you have to play this, you have to play this, you have to play this. And Herbaceous was the one that I was just like, I'm obsessed with this. And I went to every game store I could trying to find it. And I finally found it, and then I wouldn't stop playing it. So that was one that it's just so calming. It's so like chill. You're just making a garden until somebody, takes the herb that you need, and then it's no longer chill. And then it evolves into my favorite of screaming at each other. So, little something for everybody there.
Oh, so back to the screaming again. Sounds like.
Yeah, exactly.
So Chris, the last one on your list, which you pretty much always talk about, I don't think I've been to your house and it hasn't been brought up. There's a little bit of screaming in this game. You want to tell us what your last one is?
Last one is Bank Heist. Bank Heist by Lonely Hero Games. If you have not played it, you are missing out. If you want to find a way to play it, you need to come over here and play it, because it will be a great time. The designers of the game, Jared and Chris, they put a labor of love into it. But we're robbing a bank. And, what's in that bank? Well, you got sharpshooters in there, knives, chloroform, adrenaline, the usual stuff. So as you're doing this, you don't know who's who. So there's a little bit of that social deduction of not knowing who's who, but that really doesn't come into play until the second phase of the game, which is the getaway phase. That's when the bullets start flying, people start getting stabbed, accusations are just running wild, and then all of a sudden you realize that the person beside you that you've trusted the whole game turns out to be the cop and arrests you. And then you can't do anything because you don't have a stinking lockpick to unpick your locks. And you're like, thanks a lot, Beth. And so that's the game. That's the game.
Poor Beth.
Yeah. So much fun. It's just one of those ones where I think it's like $25. And for $25, it's a 5 to 8 player count. So yes, it's one of those weirder player counts to have, but it is a truly fun, enjoyable 5 to 8 player game. At any of the player counts, you can really get a lot of fun out of it, especially when you don't know who's who. It works out really well. Bank Heist.
My last game is not quite as cutthroat as that one. The most dangerous thing you'll experience is the Guardians for Lost Ruins of Arnak from CGE. That one I picked up at the beginning of the year. Like, actually bought it before I realized supposedly how hard it was to find at the beginning of last year. And so I played it, took it to Chelsea, played it there. I played it like basically with top-down camera with someone over Discord, like kept playing the solo, and then and was super excited when I was able to pick up the expansion for it at PAX Unplugged. But that one, just the way it incorporates a little bit of the deck building, the worker placement, and just having to really gauge what like the best chain of moves you can make to make the most of everything, because eventually you're going to run out of what you can do. Like, there's always more you want to do in that game. And so just the challenge of that game kept bringing me back to the table and the board for that one. And I know Chelsea enjoyed playing that with me, and she immediately got a copy as soon as she could find it, of course. She was like, where'd you buy it again? And stuff like that.
Like, we need it.
Yeah. But Chelsea, what was the last one on your list?
So the last one on my list is Tapestry from Stonemaier Games. I played it a few times with my sister, and my husband was like, oh, it looks weird. And I was like, let's just play it. And as soon as we played it for a week straight, he's like, do you want to play Tapestry again? Do you want to play Tapestry again? I'm like, okay, fine. We'll play. So we ended up playing it a lot. It was one of like our most played game of 2021, just because he was like, well, I want to try this combo and this combo. And it felt like it played differently depending on, so differently each time, depending on what civilization you had or what you decided. And when the newest expansion came out, he's like, did you buy it? Because I want to try it. I was like, I haven't bought it yet. And he was, you need to pick it up because we need to play this with the expansion. So
I guess that leaves you, Risa. One more.
All right. Well, I mean, other than like all the Calliope games because that's truthfully like those are the games I play the most. But yeah, I'll spill the beans on one of them. So we have a game that is coming out. It is coming to Kickstarter later this year. We don't know when yet. We haven't, that's how far down it is, but it is very similar to Suro in that it's tile based. But what you're doing, we actually have two versions of the game. So I'll just talk about our galaxy version. So you have different galaxies, different shapes and colors of galaxies. And there's one big one in the middle, and then there's 4 corners, like little parts on each corner. And you're rotating the tiles so that you can put all 4 corners together to make a galaxy. The game is called 4 Corners. And while you're trying to get certain galaxies to form, everyone else is trying to get other galaxies to form. So you're rotating them, you're moving them, you're placing them in different places. So it's a very simple, elegant game. It's a very thinky game. And it can devolve into yelling if you're playing at a table with me. It doesn't always do that, but if you're playing with me, it's guaranteed to. I mean,
so
or
it
you can
sounds
just
like it's not a
move my
game night with
galaxy.
Risa if there's not yelling.
Yeah.
I'm Italian. I'm a very loud person. It's just who I am as a person. Like I'm just loud. And yeah. So, but if you don't move my tiles and you don't take my galaxy, we'll be fine. Everything's fine.
We cool.
But it's a really fun one. It has a solo mode that I've started playing on my lunch breaks. Just it's just a quick 10-minute like puzzle that you're trying to figure out and see how high you can get your score, and I love it, and it keeps my brain going, and I'm really excited to show it to people. It's been in the works since before I joined the Calliope team, and it's finally ready to make its way in front of the world, and I can't wait. So
well,
heard
from
it
the
here
sounds
first.
of it, I can't wait to try it as well.
Yeah.
That's like the simple rules, but very thinky. It's kind of my
Yes.
style of game. Like,
That
and when it's fast to get to the table, solo modes available. Like, there's so many great things that it just sounds like I'm like, why would I not want to try that?
Yeah.
So definitely looking
Easy-
forward to that.
Easy to learn, difficult to master. That's the best kind of game in my opinion. Love it.
So that was the top 5 games we all played in 2021. So definitely sound like we all had a lot of fun last year, even with a lot of things going on in the world that we have no control over. But that's kind of the point of gaming, is we find ways to potentially get together either online or in person at some conventions or in home and sit around the table, have some fun together, spread some joy. And that's what this is really all about, is just kind of spreading the joy of gaming with each other. Is there anything else you want to say today, Chris?
Gosh, I'm excited about this game now. I'm eager to hear more about it. But I do really want to say a special thank you to Risa for being on here. Risa, where can we find you on the interweb thingamabobber?
Yeah, totally. I am on Twitter at Risa Patron, not like the tequila, Petrone. And I am on Instagram. I believe I'm Risa Roney1. And that's an old one from when I was a school teacher and I didn't want parents to find me on Facebook. So I changed my last name from Patron to Roney, Risa Roney, the San Francisco treat. That's me.
I love it.
That's awesome.
I love it. Well, folks, we want to say thank you very much for being here with us. We look forward to seeing you next week when we have on our next guest, which will be Amanda Panda. So once again, thank you all. And we'll see you all next week on the Meeples of Joy podcast. Bye.
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 What are you doing? You're using the wrong shaker. Oh, hey, Gary. Yeah. No. Shelly took the shaker with her when she left. So I've got my thermos. I'm just kind of using that, and maybe if somebody got the alcohol order right next time. What did you say? Nothing. Yeah, I've got those drinks. I got that martini right here for table 62. Got it. Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah, I'll get some. Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks. Luckily, you don't have to be a bartender to enjoy games like On the Rocks, Kingswood, and Kohaku, all from 25th Century Games. Highly recommend it. Link down below. Oh, and don't forget that 80 rolls of silverware before the end of your shift.
Hey, thanks for watching our video.
If you like what you saw here, go ahead and hit that little like, subscribe, the little bell thingamabobber, you know the thing, and watch some of our videos. Maybe one that's maybe up here, or maybe down there, or over there, or down there. I don't know where they are, but thank you all. Remember, when we can gather at the table, we can do the same for a good cause. Bye.
Bye.